Hey everybody, I want to talk about a product and platform that I absolutely love and our latest sponsor, Interseller, the prospecting and outreach platform of choice for recruiters and sellers. Whether you're doubling down on business development or recruiting talent, Interseller does all the heavy lifting of finding contact data, automating the email and follow-up process, and syncs all that rich data into 20 plus CRM and ATS platforms. Reach out now and get going on a 2-week free trial and let them know you heard about it from Adam on the PozCast today. Check out the link on the website. Appreciate it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the PozCast. I got a real special episode today. Sometimes I am a guest on other amazing podcasters' shows, and one of them is my good buddy Alex Sheridan on his crazy content marketing live show. So we recorded this about a month back, and Alex is my dude. He's my amazing video creator, editor, good friend, my partner in this journey that we call content development, and we're learning and growing together. So we recorded this episode on his show about a couple months back, and I thought it'd be great to share our conversation with everybody. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this great chat with my buddy Alex Sheridan. We talk about podcasting for business, content creation, along with a few laughs along the way. So check it out and enjoy the show. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome, everyone, to the Crazy Content Marketing Show, the only show on planet Earth that combines live comedy improv with content marketing wisdom from business owners who are getting real business results on social media through their content. Today, we've got a very special guest and a friend of mine who's just doing some amazing things in his space. This is Adam Posner. Adam is the founder and president of NHP Talent Group, where they connect opportunities to talent. And he's the host of the PozCast, which is one of the fastest growing podcasts in the world, talking all things career and life journey. Adam, welcome to the show, brother.
Awesome, man. Alex, pleasure to be here. And unfortunately, we're not streaming on LinkedIn right now, so we're going to just talk to our YouTube audience.
Are you sure?
Make some great content. I'm pretty sure. I don't see anything on my
I think
end.
we are. I think I just checked, and
Well, I hope we are.
Now, what's cool?
Well, maybe.
Now, fun fact: if you guys don't know this about LinkedIn Lives, that if you have creator mode, when you go to somebody's LinkedIn profile, it will stream at the very top of their page. But I don't see that happening either. So that's just a massive disappointment. So
yeah, it's pretty messed up. They got to get their act together, man.
I don't know if it's them or me, though, but we'll see. But I think we're good on YouTube. We should be streaming live.
Yeah, man. Well, awesome. Hi, YouTube.
Yeah.
What's up, YouTubers?
So, dude, how are you doing? You doing well?
I am doing great, my friend. Today's a good day. It's a new day. Both of my kids were sick yesterday, which was not fun. You know how it is. And
yeah,
you have 2 kids, right? They're going to both get sick. Like, there's no way around it. It's going to happen. And then it's just a vicious cycle of them getting each other sick again, getting us sick, getting our nanny sick, getting my mother-in-law sick. It's just, man, but we're good. We're here.
It's funny you say it, because my 7-year-old, she's in 2nd grade. Her teacher got COVID. So she's been out quarantined for 14 days. So she's been with me. So it's been a little crazy here, but we're making it. We're getting through it. Okay.
It's called quality time. Silver linings, my friend.
That's right. You got to take advantage of it. All right. We're going to jump right into it. I don't even know if we're streaming, but if we're not, either way, I'm going to post this. So it'll be out there on YouTube and LinkedIn. As you guys know, the start of the show, we go improv. We bring up a topic that's relevant to content marketing, or building your personal brand, building your business. And we just do it improv for a few minutes, and we have some fun with it. And then afterwards, we talk about the real life applications that and the messages that are derived from that improv. So this is today's improv, since Adam is a podcast specialist and knows a few things or two about creating and building podcasts. The setting is this: I'm going to come to Adam as a friend or as a colleague and say, Adam, I've got this podcast I'm going to launch, but I'm going to have just unrealistic expectations, and I'm going to start it for all the wrong reasons. And everything's just going to be kind of off, and we're going to have some fun with it, okay?
Some Second City shit right here.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Okay, cool. Let's get into it. Adam, what's happening? Dude, I got something really exciting to share with you, man.
Alex, how's it going? How's it going, man?
It's going phenomenal, man. I just started a podcast, actually, dude.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Good for you. Is this? But you had the Amazon bestseller last year, right?
Yeah. So, yep. So here's what my thought, man. I want to get your opinion, because I know you're really good at podcasts, right? I'm gonna do. Picture Joe Rogan on steroids,
right?
And that's me about
not on.
That's me
on steroids,
on steroids, right? His show.
Oh, okay, not him.
His show on steroids. That's going to be me probably about 6 months from now. I'm starting a podcast, dude, and I'm just going to talk about anything. Like, we're just going to bring people on and just talk about the most random, like the leaves are changing right now. We're probably going to talk about that stuff, right? Polls on LinkedIn. We're going to start talking about that stuff. So yeah, I figure about 6 months we'll have maybe some sponsors, Nike, Apple, wanting to do some promotion with us. I mean, dude, I can't go wrong with this. I mean, what do you think, dude? What's your opinion?
Yeah, no. I think you're thinking a little too big, and there's nothing wrong with that, Alex. But I think you need to hone it in.
You think
right?
so?
Like let's. Yeah, I mean, what do you want to talk about? Do we want to talk a show about fall foliage? Do we want to talk a show about LinkedIn polls? I mean, you should try to be specific. You can't be everything to everybody, man.
Yeah, well, I thought that, but isn't that what Joe Rogan does? He just gets on there and kind of talks about. One day he's talking about one thing, next day he's talking about another thing. I thought isn't that what people want?
Well, no, I mean, let's backtrack. I mean, Joe Rogan's been doing this a long time, man. He's just not an overnight success. He didn't just jump on and have, zillions of dollars of endorsements and deals and, millions of people listening to him.
I see. I didn't know that.
He's been in this game a long time. No, you didn't know that.
Didn't know that.
And you didn't know his team behind him. No, and there's a lot of work that goes into it, man. I think you really need to kind of focus. But let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Why do you want to do a podcast?
Because, dude, dude, all you do is literally sit down with a guest like this. And you start talking about random stuff, and then pretty soon you're getting endorsement deals. You're getting, I mean, big names. You've had Gary Vee on your show, man. So like, I figure here's
and Grant Cardone. I mean, Grant Cardone,
if I'm thinking vision,
there's no one bigger than Grant Cardone in this world. You know that, right? I mean, he's really 10x bigger than anybody else in this world.
That's what he would say, yeah. But here's what my vision is like. All right, 6 months, I'm sitting on the beach.
Tell me your vision.
6 months, I'm sitting on the beach, right? I'm going in. I'm doing an interview once a week. I'm getting all of this money from endorsements from big companies, and I'm just talking about things that are freaking cool, man. It can't be that hard, dude. Like, it's just literally you're just...
No, it's not that hard, except for the fact, how do you have any idea how a podcast actually gets on the air into people's headphones and on their phones and on their computers? Do you have any thought on
of course
how
I
that
do,
may
man.
work?
You just like pull up a StreamYard or whatever, and you hit live stream, and then boom, you're rolling.
Yeah, no, I mean, who's going to edit your show?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that yet, but that's...
Well, let's backtrack. Okay. Do you even have a name? Do you have a name for your show?
Everything's awesome. And I'm gonna have like the Lego. Everything is awesome.
Yeah, I think I might make some copyright infringement on that.
Everything is awesome.
I think they're gonna get you, man.
You think so?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, why? I mean, who's this for, man? Who's gonna watch? Who's gonna listen to it?
I guess I just kind of thought like everyone would be into it.
So you're just gonna record it and then. And then do what with it? And then like just hope that like everybody wants to listen to it. Everyone knows about it. Everyone's going to see it. Everyone's going to check it out. Everyone's going to look at all your cool social media stuff, and you're just going to be sitting on the beach. You think that's the way it works?
I mean, I thought that's how it works. I mean, don't you just kind of broadcast live, and then if it's live, everyone's going to see it. I mean, it's out there for everyone to see.
No, I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it takes work, man. I mean, I look back at my first episode. I'll pay a little homage to my first episode. Hold on. We got to do this because if you want to be a proper podcast host and work with the greats of the world, like the Lewis Howes type, you gotta have a hat. Hold on.
I do have a hat. I could get a hat. I got to unleash the creative hat.
You need to have a hat, man. You cannot do a show unless you have a hat. And the problem with doing a hat is it doesn't fit around your headphones.
Oh.
But you got to make it work, right? You got to do it.
Now,
right? You got to have a cool hat.
I got these headphones. Do I need the other headphones?
Well, you're not a real podcaster unless you have cool headphones. I mean, you could have cool in-ear headphones, but a good podcast host, you got to splurge for the equipment.
All right, so I'm taking notes. I
started with this mic. Kind of looks like yours. It's like a Yeti mic,
yeah.
Right? And then I upgraded. And then I upgraded again.
Excuse me,
and then
Adam.
I built a studio, and then I got the hat.
It's the Yeti X mic. Okay,
but you got to customize.
It's professional. I got to customize. Yeah, yeah. So,
but you can't do anything. You can't be legitimate unless you get a hat.
Okay,
you need to have a hat. That way, people recognize you. You're like, oh, it's that dude with the hat, right? I mean, my first guest was a dude with the hat. Now he's too cool for school. He doesn't return emails.
Who's that?
You know what I mean? Because he got a hat. I mean, look it up. Look up the first guest ever of the podcast. Oh, that's right.
That one ABS guy. Yeah, he's.
No. This guy's cool now, and he works for Lewis Howes. I mean, he's big time, man. You forgot about all the little people.
Okay,
right?
so
you know what I mean? Because that's what happens. You want to get to a point where you're too cool for school.
Yeah. Okay. So steps.
That's what you want to be doing. Then no, you don't need the stupid.
If I could break down just the lessons, then I just need to.
But then you get your own show and you get your own hat, so your hat matches your logo back here, right?
So
and then you got brand, but that's the only. I mean, honestly, man, that's the only reason. The only reason I'm gonna exclusive for your show here. The only reason I ever wanted to have a podcast was so I could make my own swag, so I could have my own logo, so I could have my own thing. The other nice part about having a podcast is I get tons of free shit. See that cool baseball bat mug?
Yeah. And see, isn't that at the core of every brand and heartfelt story is just a guy that wanted some swag? You know, isn't that like that's the movement? Right?
I get bacon. I get foot care cream. I get cleaning supplies. I get Wagyu beef. I mean, I get everything.
Mm-hmm. I love it. All right, man.
It's the only reason I do a show. I'm pretty convinced.
Let's break the improv and talk about this, because actually we brought up some really important topics that I think I definitely want to talk to you about specifically, since you're the podcast dude. Why? Like, let's start this. Why Pod Bros? Yes. Why should you start a podcast, and why maybe you shouldn't start a podcast? Because I think everyone's like, I should start a podcast, but really, should they? And what do they need to know going into it?
Well, here's the deal. I mean, the first question to really ask yourself is why do I want to do it, right? And we're talking about two different channels of podcasting here. You have B2B podcasts and B2C podcasts. Both of them are talking to a human being at the end, but you have to think about your audience and your goals with the show. General interest shows, conversations, comedy, sports, anything else, improv, you're talking just, to everyday people. Business shows have a niche. They have a reason behind it, right? Like, so for example, my show, the PozCast, I'm all about unpacking career journeys. We talk about careers, we talk about hiring, we talk about the interview process with most of my guests. But ultimately, I share a lifestyle story. But for me, my show drives my business. It drives the recruiting business. So I call my show a B2B2C podcast. And that's exactly what I do. But hit the rewind button here, because I truly believe that not everybody is meant to be a podcast host, right? You have to want to do it. You want to have that little bit of an itch, and it takes work and time and commitment, and you have to hone your craft, right? I mean, I've been doing this for 3 years. I've done, between the live stream and the proper audio podcast, over 300 episodes. Wow. That's hundreds and hundreds of hours behind the mic. That's hundreds of hours of working on my craft, my presence, the speech. It's muscle memory, man. You have to be ready to commit to it.
Walk me through what's the very first podcast that you did versus where you're at today. What's the atom difference there? What is it? What is the difference? So the first episode ever. So let me kind of hit the rewind button on why I actually went and decided to do a podcast. And I'll be brutally honest with you and your audience here. Twofold. One, I was checking out a bunch of podcasts of people kind of doing the HR talent recruiting thing, and they were terrible.
Yeah. They were just not that good. And I've always had this itch that I need to scratch. I grew up, I'm a huge Howard Stern fan, in my opinion, best broadcaster in the business, best interviewer in the business, no one better. And I knew that deep down in my heart, it was something that I wanted to try. It was a passion that needed to come out. So I said, screw it. Let's do it. Let's give it a shot. I have a great network. I have amazing people that I've known for my entire career that I want to connect with. That'd be great guests. So I reached out, and my first guest was Q alums, Milwaukee's finest. And the first show ever, we just recorded literally on Zoom. And I was sitting at a round conference table.
Can we still watch that? Is that somewhere where people can go watch?
Yeah, it's on there. It's on my YouTube. Cool. Yeah, it's on my YouTube, the first ever episode. And I'm sitting in front of my computer here using the FaceTime cam right here. I actually had a mic. I bought the Blue Yeti mic, and we just recorded it, and it was raw dog. I mean, luckily for me, editing wise, I found the resource on Fiverr. My buddy's a DJ producer. He made an intro song for me, and we put it all together, and the rest is history. But I look back on it, and there's two things. There's parts of it that are cringe, knowing what I do now. I mean, first thing, aesthetically, I mean, I'm in a proper studio now with microphones. I mean, that's night and day. But there's who I am as a host, who I am as a broadcaster, my presence, the way I talk, the way I listen, is a huge difference. But there's other parts of it where I could still hear my passion and enthusiasm as much in episode 1 as in episode 199. There's a big difference there.
I love it, man.
But here's what I learned, man. And I'm jumping ahead and I'm monopolizing. But one thing you have to learn as a host is when to listen, and that's something I didn't do well for the first 20 episodes. Until one of my friends, Jani, who is actually a media consultant, she's like, Adam, she's like, I've been listening. She's like, you're not listening. You're not listening to your guests. You're just looking at your questions and jumping ahead and not slowing down. And I paused and I really thought about that for a moment. The show's not about me. It's about my audience and it's about my guests. And you have to realize that. Until you're a Joe Rogan type, and even Rogan does this well, he makes his guests shine, but he has the credibility and experience to be a personality. To be that personality, to be that host. But you look at the other great guests, like host Jordan Harbinger, just signed a 7-figure deal with Radio 1. He's an amazing host. Why? Because he listens and he does his research and he lets his guests talk. and he also knows when to go off script. And that comes with muscle memory, when to improv, when you could listen to what your guest is saying and something between the lines, because you're listening, sounds off a bell and you go off on tangents. Yes. And that's where the gold is.
Agreed.
Because you get to a certain point, you have guests on that do lots of shows, they're repeating their sound bites, and no one wants to hear the same thing every time. So it's your job as a host to bring out that unique storyline. And that comes with experience. CEOs and chief people leaders don't magically wake up with a staff full of people ready to execute their vision. And nowadays, it's harder than ever to find a decent staff without it taking months. That's where HireAct comes in. HireAct is the first chat-based hiring app that lets hiring managers and recruiters chat directly with job seekers. Just download the app and enjoy curated recommendations that fit your job description to a T. It's 10 times faster than any other hiring process on the market. And the best part, it's totally free. Download HireAct today. Available in all app stores across the U.S. Please visit www.hireact.us/recruit and tell them that you heard of it from Adam on the PozCast. Thanks.
I love that, man. I think...
Sorry, went off a little rant there.
No, that was good. There's so many takeaways I want to just rewind and go back to and talk about. The first thing is just, the active listening, man. Listening to understand versus listening to respond. So I think even in sales conversations, podcasts, your meetings, a lot of people are listening and waiting to interject their next thing, right? And so what happens is you stop... you stop listening so much and you start saying, if I said this next, and then you miss that moment, that really cool moment that you just talked about where it's like, oh, we could have went there. And I want to say one more quick thing real quick. The other thing I love that you said in the very beginning is you said, I thought there was something there that I loved, that I was passionate about. I thought maybe I had the knack to do it, the talent to do it, or at least some type of potential. And that's why you went for it. I hear a lot of people like, I'm going to build a community. I'm going to bring people lead gen in that way. I'm going to create videos. I'm going to do a podcast. And the question you got to ask yourself is if you're going to sustain it, because we all know it's about sustainability, right? You said that most people just quit after the first 3 podcasts. And so
it's called Podfade,
and the
man.
same with content, right? I'm going to do a 30-day video challenge and then you never see them for next year. So you have to find the form of content marketing. There's a ton of things you could do: audio, video, text. Find what works for you and that you're naturally gravitate towards. And hopefully you got some natural talent, and then just freaking lean in on it and stay consistent.
Big time.
Yeah.
It's consistency is key, right? I mean, listen, I've never missed a week in almost 3 years, February 2019. And I've never missed a week. Now, I'm not recording one show per week, editing and doing it. I do it because I batch file. And I learned how to do that because I come from a background in project management, account management. And I understand the idea of having 7, 8, 9 shows in the can. There's some weeks I'll record 4 shows, 5 shows. Gets me ahead. There's other weeks I record 0 shows.
Dude, that's amazing.
I've taken months off. I took off 7 weeks this summer. I didn't record any shows over the summer, and I haven't missed a beat.
So wait, how many? I don't think
I do batch production once a month.
That's great. I don't think most people know that. And it's the same with any content marketing. I have videos recorded ways out, right? Not like you're recording something for tomorrow.
Evergreen.
So how many right now do you got in the queue of podcast episodes? Like how many are?
Well, there's a double-edged sword to this because you also don't want an episode to go stale, a guest to go stale, that relationship. Meaning if I record this episode with you today and it's not going out till February, that's not
right,
good.
Right.
And I found myself in this position right now. Well, right now I'm about 15 episodes ahead. And I'm asking myself, hey, that's not good. I've learned from past mistakes that's just not going to be a good experience. So what I'm actually doing, I mean, I'm giving inside baseball right here. I'm going to be putting out more than 1 episode a week to catch up, to be at most 6 to 7 episodes ahead instead of being 15 episodes ahead.
Smart.
And I think that's important too, right? Like, I mean, I don't want to talk to a guest today and then, they're like, oh, I completely forgot about it. They're not going to want to promote your show.
Right.
They're not going to want to, get the word out. I mean, I've recorded shows, for example, the show that's coming out this Friday, I recorded on August 26th, right? So that's 8 weeks. That's the max. That's the max I ever want to be is 8 weeks. So I'm right in there. But then I'm looking ahead and I recorded a lot of shows in the last month and I'm like, shoot. So what I'm doing, I'm going to do what I'm grateful for a week, guess I'm grateful for, and I'm going to put out 5 shows during Thanksgiving week. I'm going to do a Netflix style binge. Because if they're great guests, what's going to happen is they're going to go in and they're going to see 5 episodes dropped on one day and they'll just start going through them all back to back.
Yeah.
The Netflix model works, but I don't always do Netflix. Sometimes I do episodic, and then other times I'll drop Netflix on special occasions, and they binge, and you see your numbers pop because people are enjoying it. Hey, just listen to this one. I don't even have to wait for another week. I have another show, new one right afterwards.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
So you really have to think about the audience. You have to think about their experience the whole time. And this brings up a really important point. always keep your audience in mind first, the end listener. And this comes to you as a host, the technical production, and the audio quality and the quality of the guest. I've ducked 2 shows because it just technically wasn't good or the guest bombed, and I don't want to put it out there. You don't owe anybody anything.
Right. I've done the same. I've done that a million times, the videos, because they didn't turn out the way I wanted to, right? You got to make that call. So you've got a ton of episodes. What are you coming up on, 300, you said?
No, also I've done I am booked up to 198. I've recorded up to 191, and that's just proper podcast audio. And I've done 100 live shows since the date. I've done 101 live streams since January of 20.
Okay, so
first, yeah,
I'm going to ask the real questions here, like that the business owners and the people getting into this.
Yeah, let's
talk about it, because obviously you got to get into it because you enjoy it. You're going to bring value to your audience. There's got to be something of that there. I don't think it can just be a business reason, or you're not going to make it long term. But what have been the business wins? What is it doing for your business, the podcast?
So a little interesting. I didn't launch a show with the intention of business. It happened organically. And I think that's the beauty of it here. Once I started to reach out to guests that were not in my immediate circle of folks that I knew firsthand, first connections, and I started to reach out to guests that I thought were interesting, and they happened to be decision makers at companies I wanted to do business with. And I found it incredibly easier and more effective and efficient to reach out to somebody and say, hey, I have a good show. We're building up steam here. It's about career journeys. I respect what you've built. I would love to have you as a guest on my show. 9 out of 10 times, unless they're slammed or for some reason they don't like being in public. And if they're an executive, most likely they have no problem being in public. They're going to want to get their word out. And I can't even tell you how much easier it is to get that first conversation, get them into your pipeline or your booking pipeline, start to have conversations with them about the show, book them, schedule them, get their information, talk to either them or their assistant, build that rapport with them, have the pre-show interview, have the interview, do the follow-up, post the show, and then ask for the sale. I've either converted, because I looked at the numbers today, out of my 300, we'll call it 300 plus guests, and say maybe about 100 of them are actually decision makers versus people who are not directly in my business. Right. 25 of them into either paying clients or high value prospects from the show.
Wow.
That's almost a 25% conversion rate.
And to your point,
and that's why I'm teaching it now. That's why I'm teaching the PozCourse.
Yeah,
pre-sale today, everybody. Check it out on my LinkedIn page.
I want to talk about that. Maybe we'll save that for the last minute, but I do want to talk about that because I feel like there's a lot of people that need what you're offering now, right?
Yeah. So let me give everyone this there, man. I'm going to tell everybody what a podcast does for business and for yourself. All right, I'm going to go through this list right now. 1, we talked about the client conversion because you're establishing relationships first before the ask. You're breaking through the noise versus cold calling and cold emailing, which, too much noise in the market. You're establishing yourself and your guests as thought leaders within your industry or niche. You have a treasure trove of content across all mediums.
That's a big one.
You're building a community, and around added value content, you're establishing yourself, thought leader community, all works together. You have a platform now to share your voice and message with the world. And you're, at the end of the day, this is building true, authentic social credibility. Not just saying you're good at something, not just using social media optics to make you look like a freaking influencer because you got 1 million followers and you built it up with pods and bots and all that shit. This is genuine thought leadership and real, true social credibility. Those are all the positive benefits of building a proper podcast.
Love that. And especially the one you talked about, for me as a content marketer, you're building a content marketing machine. People are like, how do I get content? And what should I talk about? And when should I record it? Well, dude, if you just did a podcast once a week and you filmed it, and some people are like, we're not doing video. I'm like, why would you not do video? Why would you not do video? It's a free content marketing machine that you can pull clips from and then send it out, right?
You want to hear another little secret, right? Before I started working with Alex on some of my really cool video stuff, I still work with my Fiverr guy. I bang out video clips. Literally, it's $7 a pop, right? That I just post. If they get 0 engagement, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
If they get tons of engagement, awesome. And they're easy to do. I literally send him a timestamp. He has a template built. He bangs them out in 3-day turnaround. And I have 3 or 4 per show that I could put out anywhere I want. Plus, all that content I send to my guests. That's the big piece here. I'm giving my guests the content and they can promote it what they want. They want to promote themselves. Dude, no brainer,
man.
But the work is hard to get it done. This just didn't happen overnight. There's a machine behind it.
Exactly.
Process,
And you talked about the 25 people that converted to clients or high return prospects, but then you didn't even mention all of the content that went out from all of that brought in attention and business and Rex, right?
We didn't even talk about that.
Right.
It's called the halo. I mean, the halo effect, the social credit. I mean, that's what it's really about. I mean, I've had clients reach out to me who were not on the show, but they see my content. And that goes back to the thought leadership. What they see what I'm doing. You're establishing yourself like, hey, Adam talks about recruiting. He's got a big show. He just had on Bracken Darrell, the CEO of Logitech, on. He must know what the hell he's doing. Let me talk to him about recruiting. And how do you separate yourself? How do you separate yourself in your industry?
Yeah.
Am I the best recruiter in the world? Absolutely not. Am I the best podcast recruiter in the world? I think I'm up there.
I think so. Yeah. So we got a couple minutes left. What's the biggest moment in your content creation journey, podcasting content? Like, what is just the one thing that really sticks out for you that you'd love to share that maybe someone could get some advice or feedback from?
So there's two things here. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly here. The worst thing that I did was, it's two things. One, I didn't build a community before I launched the show. And it's kind of like the analogy of a plumber with a broken toilet in his house. Like, I know what to do. I mean, I have 15 years of social media content community experience behind me, and I just didn't do it. I didn't build up a hype. I didn't build up a community. I didn't foster it. And I've been playing catch up since then. I still do. I'm playing catch up versus having a core audience. You build up steam, you build up a community first, and then you get excitement and launch it. You're going to be light years ahead of everybody. So that's a mistake. That's something I always talk about because I want people to learn from my journey. As far as my highlight, and I mean this with all sincerity, it's when we launched the Gary Vee video that you did, man. When we launched that video, because it was just a game changer. And I think for you and me also, I don't think anyone's ever seen anything like that. I know he saw it. I know, I'm telling you firsthand. I've sent it to him twice. I know he saw it. D-Rock saw it. D-Rock loves it. I mean, he didn't post it. Maybe he will one day. I think he's fucking with me a little bit. Because he knows I want him to, right? Like he know. I mean, obviously, that's what he wants. But I want him to, But that video really set it apart because I think what that did was it combined so many elements of what you and I do great. First and foremost, we collaborated.
Yes.
That shows the true power of collaboration over competition, right? Because that's what the LinkedIn platform really does. Incredible piece of content before you even got into the video that you created, and then you took something unique, a unique video clip, and then you turned it into a unique musical clip on top of it, plus the animation. I mean, that's the evolution of what you could do with podcast content.
Yeah.
And I look at my content journey. I mean, my original videos, I had this high school kid that, I mean, it's so gangster, man. It was like, remember those first season of The Simpsons when they were like kind of stick figure looking?
Yeah.
Right? And then I look at my content now. I mean, it's pro. I mean, the shit that you're putting out for me, man, is like, I mean, this is pro level kind of stuff here that you could stand behind and it just adds credibility to it. And it's a journey. Yeah. It's an absolute journey. So I'm most proud of the journey. I'm most proud of my journey. And here's the thing. I'm going to leave you one last quick little story here. Over the summer, I was hanging out with some friends in a backyard, and one of my buddies is just an incredible guitar player, and he's just really just awesome at it. And I had a couple of drinks, I was feeling kind of loose and good and everything, and he's just jamming away. And afterwards, I walk up to him, I'm like, dude, you're awesome. I mean, you have a talent, man. You're just amazing at what you do. I'm like, I don't have any talent. I can't draw. I can't sing. I can't act. I can't do anything. He turns to me and goes, dude, stop that shit right now. He's like, what you have built, he goes, I've listened to your shows. He goes, you are a natural host. You are so smooth. You are so good. You are so quick at it. He's like, dude, I couldn't do that. He's like, I've been playing guitar for 15, 20 years. I couldn't do what you do. I can't just jump on a microphone and just talk to people and improv and do that. He goes, you have an art. He goes, that's your art. And I took a moment. I took a deep breath. I was like, holy shit, man. I found my creative outlet. And when I turn on this mic and the lights, I go into 6 gears, I call it. I go into this mode where everything else is blocked out, and it's like an athlete when he steps on the field. When a performer steps on the stage.
In the zone, baby. I call it the zone of genius. It's my zone. Zone of genius.
It's my zone of genius, man. I mean,
that's it.
Yeah.
And I love the journey, man. I love being able to look back at your old stuff way back when. And you smile, you cringe a little bit, but you're just proud. You're proud of where you came from, right? So, dude, you've launched. Cringe. You're on a new journey now. You're helping people with their podcast and the launching. And I want to hear a little bit about that. Plug it. Let's talk about it. Where can people find it? Get a hold of you, all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the deal straight up. Anybody who's out there is looking for a way to break through the noise instead of cold calling and emailing, and they have the itch like I did. They have an idea for a podcast. They're an expert or a thought leader in their industry. The podcast medium is an incredible way to get your voice out there. Everything I said before, to build clients, but there's got to be a way to do it. So I've taken my 3 years of experience, my actual social credible proof of booking real clients. And I distilled it down into what I call the PozCourse. Works well from a naming perspective, right? I'm not here to teach you how to broadcast. I'm not here to teach you how to set up your microphones. But what I am going to teach you is give you the framework, mindset, and tools to launch a B2B podcast, how to book guests, how to connect with them, the templates, the CRM tools that I use. And I'm also going to teach you how I do batch production, because I think that's really key to efficiency. Teach you about blocking and tackling your time, how to outsource, how to use different resources. I'm going to give you those tools, and you can find it. It's pre-sale right now, working on the landing page, but you can go to my LinkedIn and find it there, the link. But it's going to be the PozCourse.com, and that site should be up in a couple of weeks. But if you're interested in the pre-sale, check out the post on my LinkedIn page today.
Beautiful. Yeah,
send me that clip, because I think I just nailed it right there on the first take.
I think you did. That's an animation clip right there too.
One take pause.
We should do the promo clip, dude. We could do a promo clip. You got to have a video on it.
Yeah,
dude,
please.
You got to have a video. You got to have a video
on
the landing page. That's key. That is key.
And we're going to do that right there. We just need it. Just give me that clip.
I got you, man. Awesome, brother. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Connect with Adam if you're not. Check if you're thinking about starting a podcast. Definitely connect with him on that, because he can help you tremendously. He's been through it all. He can give you the shortcuts, the guides, all that stuff. Thanks, everyone, for watching today. We will see you next week on the Crazy Content Marketing Show. Peace.
Wisdom is forever, but for us, it's time to go. Thank you for joining us. Luckily, we'll be back with our next episode soon, jam-packed with more incredible humans. Thank you for listening, subscribing, and sharing. To join the conversation, search the PozCast on LinkedIn. And to catch up on past episodes and more info, please visit www.thepozcast.com.